Hey everybody, it's Paul from Stretching Canada. I hope that you're going to join me today to do some stretches. Hey everybody, it's Paul again, Stretching Canada. This week I wanted to do some stretches that were more follow along than problem resolution that I've been doing the last 2 weeks. I would rather do the follow along in a way that you can attain and maintain some flexibility and personal health in the same way that you would do for, say, a yoga class, or let's say a Pilates class, or any class for that matter. You should be able to just follow along and improve your flexibility through these stretches. And the way I envisioned the week going was working from the top down to the pelvic girdle, and then from the bottom up to the pelvic girdle, and then work through the pelvic girdle on Saturday. So today it's going to be the shoulder girdle front, shoulder girdle back. There's lots of other stretches that we can do in the rotators and specific muscles, but for now, opening up in the front, opening up in the back, gaining access to the cervical spine. And then what I would like to add on top of that is very simple activations of muscles. So we're not actually going into a strengthening of muscles, but an activation so we can build local stamina in the joints that we're opening up. So let me start with pecs, and there'll be two phases of the pec stretches. In the sense that we'll do a self-stretch and then an assisted stretch against a wall or a door frame in this case. So let me start by bringing the arm to just below shoulder height. And the reason for that is the humeral head sits a little bit easier in the labrum when I'm just below shoulder height. So the humeral head comes along here and then fits in, and I'm just going to work up this angle here. So I'm going to reach back. I'm going to keep my body square to the direction I'm facing without any kind of compensation. Breath in, and 1, 2. Sometimes I'll put my hand here so I can actually feel if there's any kind of rotation. But right now I can see in the camera if I'm doing any kind of compensation. So I'm going to bring these two ribs together, bracing in the front. Not so much pulling your belly into your spine, but bring the ribs together, and 1, and 2. And 5. So now I'll shift the camera so you can actually see where I'm going to be working, where I do often work. And the idea here is not so much to fall into the door frame, because now the muscle that I'm actually asking to stretch and release is holding me up. So it's in a state of eccentric contraction. Emphasis on the word contraction, so that we need to actively reach back and then assist that. So what I'm going to do is the leg that's closest to the wall is the head, the other leg is behind, and I'm just going to add a rotation. So I'm reaching back and then adding rotation, 1, 2, and I'm a little bit too far back. Breath in, breath out, reaching back, reaching back, reaching back, 1, 2, and this is 3, 4, and 5. And then you can finish the other stretches in the same way, or you can go to phase 2, which is involving the bicep a little bit and maybe a little bit of coracobrachialis underneath, and reaching back. And I'll come back to the front so you can see the whole thing. So it's more reaching out, 1, 2, and then in increments reaching up. And the further up the arm goes, the further down into those lower fibers of the pecs we get. 4 and 5. And instead of just doing the other side and watching me do the other side, lock your fingers behind your back, and you can do both sides. It's basically doing the same thing, but bilaterally instead of unilaterally. And again, bracing in the front. The reason I want to emphasize the bracing is so that as I'm reaching back, I'm not kind of creating, this stability isn't allowing a hyperextension of the back, which tends to take away a little bit of the stretch. It takes away the focus of the stretch when we bend back, because you're looking for amplitude, but you really want to focus on the muscle. 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Sorry, getting a little distracted by who's on. Hello. All right, so we've opened up the front. And again, yes, there's lots of other stretches that we can do. We'll get into those in a minute. But now I want to get into the muscles in the back, basically the rhomboids and upper traps and posterior deltoids. But if I think about bringing my shoulder blades down my back, so you're thinking about the angles of the shoulder blades going down into your back pockets before I bring my arm up, otherwise kind of get into this shrug. So shoulder blades down, I'm going to bring my arm up again about 5 degrees below shoulder height. I'm going to actually rotate externally so my palm is facing up, and that helps maintain the downwardness of that scapula, and then come across. And there are variations on this as well. And reaching across, and my assisting hand is just above my elbow. So I'm not, I'm not inducing a bend. And 5. Same thing on the other side. Let's see. Make sure you can see me. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Now, same idea, but add an internal rotation so the palm is down. Maintain that shoulder down below shoulder height 5 degrees. And still bracing, so I'm not rotating, or it keeps me from rotating too much. And the focus maintains itself at the joint. 5. And I can feel that a little tight from the kettlebell workout that I did yesterday, that I'm still to do today. I tend to do my workouts after I stretched. I've prepared and optimized the muscles, and then do my workout. So they're more prepared to do the work, and they're more prepared to, they're more optimized, oxygenated, optimized. So we've opened up the front, we've opened up the back, and now what I want to do is add a little bit of strengthening, just so you're activating. I'll go back to the door frame so you can see what I'm doing. Hope that's not too low. So to strengthen the pecs, we can kind of go into a push-up. And what I've done here is I'm stepped back 1, 2, 3, let's say 3.5 feet from the door frame. And you want to maintain a very straight posture, like an athletic posture, so you're not arcing down and you're not bending forward or flexing or extending the back. You're fairly straight, and you can be arms out in just a small push-up position, or you can come forward, hands below shoulders, maintain your upright position, and just do a basic push-up, which is basically this, and the attachments of the pecs are going to get a little bit of a workout. And I'm doing it against the wall, so I'm not just going dead straight fast against gravity. Now you can, I have a small chair that I tend to work with. I have other benches or a coffee table. Let me just change the angle of the screen a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll be here, and again, I'm trying to maintain a fairly erect posture, and 1 and 2. Sometimes 3 is enough just to activate. You want to do 4 or 5. And then, getting into the rhomboids, I'm just going to use these tubes, elastic tubes. So it's building a resistance, and I'm going to bring my arms to like a 90-degree angle. I think this was at one point up here. It's better to work against the angle, but this still works. So I'm just bringing my arms to shoulder height, and with my elbows locked at 90 degrees, I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together. So I'm not just working the deltoids and the triceps. I've already engaged those, and then I would do, 3 is enough to sort of activate them, but you can continue on to 4, 5, or 6. Hi, Mary Claire. I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you right after this. So we've opened the front, strengthen the front. Open the back, strengthen the back. Now, now that we have access to the cervical spine, we'll get into the 5 stretches of the neck. So the 5 are, the first one is tucking the chin in, and sometimes this is enough. So if I do it like this, and I'm on my exhale, tucking my chin in and elongating the cervical spine, so you're kind of going long and tall in the neck, tall in your body, erect, without losing that posture. Tuck the chin in, back to neutral. On your out breath, Tuck the chin in and feel that elongation. And that's a good way to start. And from there, we can go tucking in and reaching down. And sometimes that's enough. Tucking in, breathing out, reaching down. Or we can assist, and I'm just going to use my finger pads, so I'm just sort of pulling gently, letting the weight of my arms fall to the ground. So tucking in, reaching down, breathing out, and just gently assisting 1, 2. Now I feel that down into my thoracic spine, almost to the T12. 1, 2, and 1, 2. And again, I'm bracing here, so I'm not collapsing in the front. I'm trying to stay as erect as possible. So let's do 5 like this. Tuck in, reach down, breathe out, hands are here. Tuck in, reach down, breathe out. And you'll notice that I'm disengaging my fingers from my head completely, so I have full access of the range that my neck wants to move. If my hands are even touching my head, I tend not to go all the way to full range or back to neutral in that case. Tuck in, reach down, breathe out. Disengage. Tuck in, reach down, breathe out. So that's about 5, I think. I lost count on the way to 5. So I'm going to do the second one, and this is the protocol that I follow. Bilateral in the back, side to side, and then move from there. So when I bring my ear to my shoulder, the first thing that my body wants to do is kind of go with it or compensate. So I'm going to either lock my arm behind my back, if you can. If you can't, just reach your arm down your side, so that as you bring your ear to your shoulder, 1, 2, you're not compensating too much. So I can, so I will. Tuck in, reach down. Salut Eric. Bonjour. 1, 2. So what am I doing? 5, lateral. Oh, and also if you find yourself rotating, that's fine. You can't get a wrong angle. If your head is facing away from the direction you're facing, that you're stretching, you're going to get more anterior. If you're going towards the direction you're stretching, you're going to get more posterior scalings. It doesn't matter. You can't get a wrong angle. So let's say that's 2. And I tend to keep my eyes open. I can see in the camera and the screen, but I tend to work in front of a mirror. And I focus here, and I'm trying to rotate over one spot. And that's what helps me know where I am in space. 3, 4, and 5. Hélène, bonjour. Salut. 5 one side, 5 the other. And again, if you can't get your arm behind your back comfortably, just reach down or grab your leg. Or if you're sitting, and you can do the sitting, just put your hand under the seat of the chair and reach. And again, it's an active contraction and a gentle assist here. And 5. So now, let's take that bilateral neck stretch and turn it into more unilateral and the erectors on one side, specifically maybe the stabilizer of the levator scapula. So if I look towards my left, say 45 degrees, again, can't get a wrong angle, but I'm going to aim towards my left knee. So I'm going to stabilize in the back and looking to the left, tuck in, reach down, breathe out, again bracing in the front, 1, 2, and that light assisted pressure, 1, 2. And I'm really feeling that along levator scapula and perhaps upper traps, the medial aspect of the upper traps, along with a series of other rotators and erector muscles and extensor muscles. Let's call that 5. Same rotation to the right, tuck in, reach down, breathe out, gentle assistance. And by gentle assistance, I'm either pulling with my fingers, I'm just gently allowing my elbow to drop to the ground. And again, I lost count on the way to 5. Don't tell anybody. Let's call this 5. And now, the fourth one, if I'll continue to look to the right, but now my left ear is going to come forward to my left knee. Again, stabilizing in the back with my right shoulder, with my right arm tucked behind my back. And left ear forward, anterior oblique flexion, 1, 2. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. And try not to collapse in the front, although the body wants to do it. Stay as erect as you can. 5. And then, again, looking to the left, but pulling forward to the right, say, aiming my right ear to my right thigh or my right knee. And again, you can't get a wrong angle. If your ear goes towards your shoulder, or rather than, say, the knee, then whatever you get, that's perfectly acceptable. Meet yourself where you're at. Be nice to yourself with a nice light assisted pressure. 4, 5. And then the fifth one is going to be, again, being long, and with your eyes, look over your shoulder. I'm going to go to the right. So I'm looking over my shoulder, and my head naturally follows my eyes, and then my head naturally follows in a sort of a more comprehensive fashion rather than coming halfway and then pulling the rest of the way with my hand. So I'm going to go as far as I can with my head. On my out breath, looking over my shoulder, head follows my eyes, and then my whole hand, or my first 2 fingers anyway, are along the mandible, and then my other hand falls naturally on this parietal bone, and they both pull at the same time. 1, 2, back to neutral. And looking around, 1, 2, I can almost see the camera in my eyes. And reach in, I can see the camera, but not right at it. If I go too far and I break something, I'm going to do the last 2 here. Reaching around so you see the front, and I'm just gently applying that half pound of pressure, and then, so back to neutral, going to go to the left. And staying tall, turn, rotate your head, and then 1, 2. And again, totally disengaging my fingers. And you're going at the rhythm of your breath, so you can't go too fast. 5. Now, we haven't done anything in the front. We're going to do that again later in the week. But now that we've released and opened and optimized and oxygenated the muscles in the back, I now want to activate them. So I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure, maybe that same half pound, and just push my head into my hand. So from the side, it's going to be this action with my head. So I'm utilizing the muscles that I just opened up. And, you can have your fingers here or they can be locked. It doesn't really matter. And just 1, 2. And again, bracing in the front and pushing in the back. And then for the muscles on, we went to the side. You can just push 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, or you can start at range and then push against yourself. 4 and 5, and then push up, push up, push up. Or you can use an elastic, around your head. 4 and 5, and then the levator muscles. I look to the left, tucked in and reach down. So now I'm going to reach down and push up against and feel these levator muscles start to fire up. 4 and 5. Same thing on the other side. And I can feel a real discrepancy left and right. There's a real restriction on my left side that I'll need to work out. I've been doing a lot of kettlebell workouts, and I'm weaker on one side, so I think I'm compensating. I think that's where that little shrug issue is coming from. And that's me, so it might be something for you. If you have an issue and you want to try and resolve it, message me here or connect with me at any time on Facebook, the Messenger. If you have my phone number, call me and we'll try and work something out. And then on the rotation, it's really just sort of going against the movement that we did. So I'll start at the right, turning towards center, just creating a little bit of restriction, 5 on both sides. So I'll stop at 3 because we're running out of time. But so those are the stretches, front and back, 4 stretches for the cervical spine, and some strengthening. Really, I wouldn't call it strengthening as much as I'm calling it activation. So the muscles are released, open, optimized, oxygenated, and then told to function in their proper function now that they can. Again, so this is the daily stretch for today. That's about 15, 16, 17 minutes. Again, if you have any questions or recommendations, give me a call or contact me here. And I hope everybody's well. I hope this helps you in your isolation, and that you have some, health and, what am I thinking of? You have the resources to help yourself, and I hope this is one of them. And that you're healthy and well and safe, and wish you all the best. I'll see you again tomorrow. Peace out, everyone. Take care.